A story of two confraternities, Eiye versus Black Axe at the University of Lagos. At the University of Lagos, one of Nigeria's most prominent higher institutions, education is not the only structure shaping student lives. Beneath the surface of lectures, assignments, and hostel life lies a parallel world. A world ruled by silent codes, covert meetings, and an unwritten battle for dominance. It is a world where confraternities, or campus cult groups as they are more commonly known, operate with their own systems of authority, loyalty, and influence. Among these groups, two major confraternities once locked horns in a fierce struggle for control over the campus: the Airlord Confraternity and the Black Axe Confraternity. The events that followed not only redefined the power dynamics within the University of Lagos but also left many lives displaced and the social fabric of the school permanently scarred. This is the story of how a battle for territory, power, and control turned a peaceful academic space into a hotbed of rivalry, bloodshed, and eventual uneasy peace. The Airlord Confraternity, also known in some circles as the Supreme Eiye Confraternity, had long established its roots in the University of Lagos. With an origin tracing back to earlier decades, the group had gradually grown into one of the most organized and influential fraternities on the campus. The Airlords weren't just large in numbers, they were structured, networked, and deeply embedded in different corners of student life. From faculty associations and hostel authorities to student union bodies and off-campus hostels, their presence was unmistakable. Many believed their longevity was their greatest strength. They had experienced generations of membership turnover and adapted across time. The reputation of the Airlords rested on discipline, intelligence, and an unspoken ability to maintain power without drawing too much attention. Their code was not just about violence, it was about influence, wielding unseen authority over campus affairs. Their strong network with former members, now in high places in society, gave them confidence and leverage. While the Airlords enjoyed dominance, the Black Axe Confraternity, also known as the Neo-Black Movement of Africa, began to gain traction within the same university space. Known nationally for their feared presence in various institutions, their entry into the University of Lagos was not random, it was strategic. They recruited swiftly, targeting students with ambition, anger, or a longing for protection. For a while their movement was silent, methodical. But soon signs began to emerge. Symbols, codes, and the emergence of new cliques around hostels began to make it clear. The Black Axe was here, and they were not planning to stay silent for long. Their ideology was slightly different from that of the Airlords. While the Airlords emphasized preservation and influence, the Black Axe leaned heavily into aggression, dominance, and radical expression of power. They wanted to shake the table, not maintain it. Within a few academic sessions they had grown in numbers, not yet to the level of the Airlords, but enough to stir unease in the previously stable hierarchy of confraternal control. It was only a matter of time before friction emerged. The University of Lagos, though vast, had limited space when it came to what confraternities seek most: territory and influence. Control of hostels, student union offices, cult-sympathetic lecturers, off-campus environments, and event security, all these became areas of competition. The Airlords, having already spread their roots across these platforms, began to feel the pressure of the new competition. The Black Axe, eager to make their mark, pushed harder. Tensions rose when reports of low-scale intimidation began to circulate. A fresher, alleged to have been recruited by Black Axe, was beaten near a faculty building controlled by the Airlords. Another incident saw a known Airlord sympathizer attacked while returning from a night party off campus. While there was no official declaration of war, everyone knew what was coming. The rivalry was no longer ideological, it had become territorial. And when cults fight over territory, the results are never quiet. The first open clash didn't take place during the day. It happened in the dark corners of campus, away from the watchful eyes of school authorities. A Black Axe member was ambushed at a popular off-campus junction. That same night, retaliation followed with two Airlord members severely wounded in the hostel premises. From there, the battle lines hardened. No longer hiding behind silence, both groups began organizing in clusters, guarding spaces, and conducting surveillance. Students began to feel the tension. Movement became restricted. Some lectures were disrupted. Some students transferred hostels. Fear gripped the campus. Within a month, the conflict escalated into a series of coordinated attacks. The Black Axe Confraternity, despite their smaller numbers, struck boldly, targeting Airlord strongholds to shake their confidence. But they underestimated the size, history, and connections of the Airlords. The Airlords responded with a precision that came from years of structure. They knew the terrain better. They had more senior members embedded in student governance. They had people in administration. The retaliation was not just in brute force, it was strategic. It was sweeping. In the wake of the escalating conflict, several members of both confraternities were displaced. Some dropped out of school. Some went into hiding. Others faced internal expulsion from their groups for being compromised. The school administration, aware of rising violence but unable to trace it directly to named confraternities, began to clamp down on gatherings, arrest suspects, and increase security presence. Innocent students were also affected. Fear spread beyond the groups. Regular students who stayed in affected hostels or mingled with suspected members found themselves caught in suspicion and fear. The human cost of the conflict was severe. The identities of most affected students were never revealed publicly, but those on campus knew the truth. Hostel rooms were left empty. Social groups disbanded. The trust within the student community fractured. The conflict wasn't just a cult war, it was a blow to the soul of the university. While the Black Axe Confraternity had passion, energy, and boldness, the Airlords had something more lethal: experience, structure, and reach. After months of calculated retaliation, the Airlords gradually reclaimed the spaces they had temporarily lost. Their superior numbers played a major role. While the Black Axe recruited fast, they couldn't match the years of solid recruitment and orientation that the Airlords had maintained. The Airlords had more support across faculties, more loyalists in student politics, and most importantly, more loyalty from past members in high places. As the weeks turned into months, Black Axe members began to scatter. Some were captured and punished internally. Others defected, seeking protection. Some simply left the campus. The Airlords didn't stop until dominance was re-established. The Black Axe presence, though not entirely eliminated, was pushed into the background. The balance of power had returned, at least for now. Eventually, fatigue set in. The violence slowed. Pressure from the school authority increased. Internal discipline from senior members of both confraternities began to prevail. And from the ashes of chaos, a truce was formed, not one signed on paper but one understood by conduct. Both sides realized the cost of unchecked rivalry. Too many members displaced. Too many eyes watching. Too much heat. And so the clashes stopped. Members resumed quiet operations. Territories were no longer openly contested. Peace, however uneasy, settled over the University of Lagos once again. But that peace came with new terms. The Airlords, now with proof of their dominance, were the clear power holders. The Black Axe became a minority force, still present, still respected in some corners, but without the authority they once hoped to seize. What happened at the University of Lagos is not an isolated event. Across Nigeria, university campuses have long been battlegrounds for confraternal power. But this particular conflict stands out because of the dynamics: an established structure defending its legacy from an emerging force that underestimated the terrain. The Airlord Confraternity, with its long-standing presence and strong numerical advantage, proved once again that history and hierarchy often triumph over raw ambition. Their ability to repel the Black Axe incursion did not just preserve their place, it cemented it. The Black Axe Confraternity, though displaced, remains a cautionary tale of how aggressive entry into controlled territory without adequate backing can backfire. But beyond who won and who lost, the real tragedy lies in the displacement of students, the mental trauma, the interrupted academic lives, and the fear that gripped a generation. Today, the University of Lagos has moved on. Students walk freely again. The hostels have returned to regular life. Lectures continue. Events are held. But the shadow of what happened still lingers. The Airlord Confraternity remains dominant, not because they celebrated the war but because they emerged intact. The Black Axe's influence has been reduced, but not eliminated. And though peace currently reigns, those who understand the nature of confraternal systems know that power is always under silent negotiation. What this story teaches is simple. When ambition meets structure and chaos challenges tradition, the outcome is never without scars. In the end, it's not just about who holds the territory, but about who can survive, adapt, and preserve what they've built. The Airlords did that. And for now, they remain the most powerful confraternity on the University of Lagos campus. Please stay away from crime.